tightened against some prickling hold as I held my breath. "I'll tell you anyway." She leaned in closer, her lips almost brushing against my ear. "Do you know why it took so long to find you?" "To rescue you." I went hot, then cold, then hot again. Memories threatened from the bad places. Words she and Thad had spoken during the drive away from Max, something I hadn't wanted to remember. "Thad knew where you were days after you disappeared." "Days, Ollie. We all knew." My fingers flexed on the bed. The cuts all over my body, from the places where Max had cut too deep, flared to life. My heart beat so hard I knew Lauren could hear it. "We waited," Lauren whispered. "We waited so he could break you. We wanted you in a million tiny pieces. The order to leave you there came straight from the top." "From who, you ask?" I hadn't asked. I hadn't even taken a breath. Lauren smiled, a wet cracking of her lips. "We waited because Hex told us to. Your own father left you there to fall apart." She leaned in and kissed my cheek, not sweet, mocking. "We waited, Ollie." I reared off the bed and slammed my forehead straight into her nose. It broke, cracking wet like her smile. The blood splattered over me, and she flew backward, screaming and clutching her nose. Blood gushed between her fingers. Her wild, light-colored eyes found mine. Mascara ran down her cheeks from her tears, her pretty dark hair disheveled from the tussle. She screamed again, this one muffled against her hands. She spat blood onto the floor beside my bed. I swung my legs over the edge, ignoring the dizzy tilt of the room and the warning heat in my chest. A trickle of blood ran down between my eyes. Lauren staggered back as I stood. The door crashed open. "Ollie! Ollie, hang on! Stop!" "Thad." I swiped the blood off my face, smearing it across my forehead like war paint. "I'll kill you," I told Thad, who barely flinched at the threat. My gaze swung back to Lauren. "And you, too." She spat at me. "Fucking bitch." "Where am I?" I fired the question at Thad, who was still standing by the door, a wave of people at his back, craning their necks to see around him. I recognized none of them. The bedroom we were in was minimal, with white walls, a gray bed, and a geometrical rug. A little sitting area was positioned beneath the only window, which took up most of the wall. The ceiling stood high, the ductwork exposed. Faded brickwork took the place of paint or wallpaper. "Reese!" Thad shouted over his shoulder. "Get in here and get Lauren, now!" A second later, a young man shoved through the crowd and past Thad, tossing a sharp glare my way. I noticed the familiar black scars running down his neck, his tanned skin, and his surfer boy blonde locks as he took Lauren's hand and led her from the room. He'd been in the back seat staring down at me while Thad tried to push my heart back inside my body. My heart, the tightness in my chest. I glanced down at myself and spotted the black stitches holding my skin together, holding my heart inside. "We're in Anchorage," Thad told me once they were gone. "What the hell for? Why didn't you take me back to the base? To the university? When we spoke about leaving Barrow to meet up with the other halflings, I agreed because it was on my terms. Things have changed since then." "Maybe we should talk when you're better." I turned around, my eyes landing on a purple crystal sitting on the bedside table. Hefting it up, I weighed it in my hand. "Or we can talk now, if you want," Thad said. He was already closing the door by the time I turned back around. I flicked my chin toward the door. "Were those halflings?" "Yes. Like me. Like us." My chest pulled again, straining against the stitches. I didn't like those words, which might have meant I didn't like myself, since, technically, I was like the other halflings. "Where are Sunny and Luke?"